All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is James. I work with Income Dev Center. I infrastructure slash DevOps team. I belong to the infrastructure slash DevOps team. So this morning we'll be looking at Linux, introduction to Linux. I don't know. Some of us may have come across Linux before. However, I know some of us that are not used to the technical parts, right, of tech may not have come across Linux. Truth is that before I transitioned into tech, I'm not sure I've ever heard anything called Linux in my life before. Not until when I transitioned into tech, before I came across the word Linux. So, like I said, for those of us here um, that may not be used, they may not have had anything to do with the technical part of tech. Maybe project managers, marketing guys, you may not know anything about Linux. So we're going to be looking at Linux today. That's exactly what we'll be looking at. So Linux, what is Linux? Linux is an open source and community developed operating system for computers, servers, mainframes, mobile devices, and embedded devices. Linux was brought about by Linus Torvalds, who released the Linux kernel in September 1991. Now, the definition here is saying something. Open source and community was developed operating system, which is designed for what? Designed for computers, designed for servers, designed for mainframes, mobile devices, and what? Embedded devices. So first and foremost, when you say Linux is an open source, what it means is that it's actually free, right? So Linux is free. You don't necessarily need to pay before you use Linux operating system. So first thing first, it's an open source, which means is that it's actually free, and it's a community developed operating system, right? Both for computers, mobile devices, and all of that. Now, this is your Linux diagram. Now, if you look at the shape of this diagram, you see where your hardware is located. Just at the top of your hardware is where you have your kernel. At the top of your kernel is where you have your shell. That's your command line interface. At the top of your command line interface, you're having what? Your graphical user interface. Then your desktop environment, as well as what? As well as your application. Now, we have established that Linux is what? Is an open source community developed what? Operating system, right? That is what developed for different, sort of use, starting from your mobile devices to your computers to your servers and all of that. So it's produced, or it is developed for different certain use case. So Linux has different distributions of flavors, and each is typically what? Tailored for specific target systems, such as your servers, your desktop, your mobile devices, or your embedded devices. Some of the flavors are Ubuntu, Fedora, Red Hat, CentOS, open source, Madriva, and Linux Mint. Now, just like we said, that what happens that it's open source. That's the first thing, which I said is free. It's an operating system that is developed for different purposes, which we established already: your computers, your servers, your what's it called, your mobile devices, and the rest. Now, and we also understand that Linux has got different distributions and different flavors, and each of these flavors are specifically tailored for a particular what? For a particular system. Each of these flavors is targeted for a particular server or particular desktop and all of that. So I have seen that we've got different flavors from Ubuntu, Fedora, Red Hat, and all of that. Let's move ahead. These are just more like the graphical interpretation of all the Linux flavors that we have. So we move now. Ubuntu is compatible and a high range of hardware and software. It is regularly updated when it has hence it has very suitable, it's very suitable because it focuses on the use of servers, desktop, and laptop. Now remember, if you remember very well, you said something that first thing first, Linux is open source. Second, is also community developed for different purposes, right? Both for your mobile devices, your servers, your computers, all of these purposes are what we have Linux developed for. And also we have established also that we have different flavors. Now, don't forget, if these things are developed for different purposes, right, different use cases, what it means is that each flavor has a targeted reason or targeted use case, right? Now, Ubuntu, first and foremost, as you can see, is suitable for business and personal use. Why? Because it focuses on your server, your desktop, and your laptop, right? So, more often than not, I think for some of us that may have been that are used to Linux one way or the other, realize that more often than not, um, we use Ubuntu. That's the flavor of Linux that we use. That's the flavor of Linux. So, why? Because it is suitable for what? For business and personal use. So, and it focuses on servers, on desktop, and laptop. Even when you are provisioning your server, most times in AWS, more often than not, people tend to choose Ubuntu, right? Because why? Suitable for your personal use, suitable for business use as well. Now, Red Hat is suitable for large enterprise and corporate customers who are willing to pay for their support. Now, take look at the difference. There's a difference between Ubuntu and Red Hat. Now, Red Hat is just suitable for what large enterprise who are doing what, who obviously, and I'm sure you know that if something is specifically designed for large enterprise, it definitely might come at a cost, right? So, uh, that's why Red Hat is suitable for large enterprise and corporate customers who are obviously willing to pay for their support. Then CoreOS is recommended for clustered, containerized deployment of applications. So now when you work most times with deployment of applications, especially containerized applications, clustered, clustered and containerized applications, when you work more on this sort of task, CoreOS is actually not bad. You can actually make do with that. Now, not that that's not to say that, for instance, your Ubuntu cannot work obviously when you are deploying applications. You do deploy applications over time, and then I still use Ubuntu most times, so it doesn't stop it from deploying the applications I usually deploy. So, but the thing is, CoreOS is actually recommended as well. So it's recommended, not to say that Ubuntu cannot be used. You can still use Ubuntu to deploy applications. Most times when you provision server on AWS and you choose Ubuntu, that doesn't stop you from deploying your applications to that particular server, right? So it doesn't stop you from even when you want to SSH into your server, you SSH into your server and you're using Ubuntu, it doesn't still stop you from deploying applications. However, CoreOS is actually recommended. Right? So then moving forward, Linux means is suitable for desktop users with proprietary media support. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, now commands in Linux. So here's another thing. More often than not, um, most of us. Okay, let me just talk generally based on people who may not have come across this now. Now, one of the things that you must be familiar with if you work on Linux servers is usually Linux commands. Why? Because you run quite a lot of commands over and again. So, for instance, if I SSH into a server now, I can run different commands to be able to check a couple of things, right? Now, so you have several commands that can be run in a server. Number one is your help command. Your Linux command, that's Linux command used when stuck on what next to do, the right syntax for a command. Assuming I'm doing something, I get stuck, for instance, and I don't know what next to do, or perhaps I'm running the command and then I'm not getting, it does appear I'm not getting what I'm looking for, right? So I could run a what? I could run a help. I could run a help command that will be able to give me a clue as to how to go about it. Let me see if I can log into one of the servers and then see if I can run a few commands. Just a minute, please. Bye. Just a minute, guys, please. So now, if you can see my screen, you realize that what I've just done is I've actually logged into a server. This is one of the servers I work on. This is infrastructure server. Now, if you look at this particular, this is your Linux server, for instance. Now, this is Ubuntu. This is an Ubuntu flavor, right? This is an Ubuntu flavor. Going to talking about commands that we're running. Um, let's just progress. So I'll continue to show us more. I'll run a few commands for us. So the boot, okay, boot the manual page, use the command man db. For less manual, you use the command man. That's the command man case for in-depth search. The what is command, this is for specific search. You can also search for the manual about using the command man. The help command is also used to get the right syntax for a command. The command is executed in this form. Now I'll just run on a few of these commands. Now, file management and view. Now, cd is used what is used to change from the current directory, right? Now, take for instance, this is a server that I call that. This is ls. Now, what is ls command do? Ls is actually what to list the files as well as the directories. Now, this has listed directories on the server as well as files, right? Now, if I want to move into one of these directories, all I need to do is cd, take for instance, superbase, right? Now, when I enter, what has happened? I have moved into the superbase directory, right? I've moved into what? The superbase directory. If I run an ls now for you to see, this is listing what? Directories and files under the superbase directory. Now, if you take a look at this, you realize that the things you are seeing here when I run an ls are not the same things you are seeing here. What exactly has changed? I moved into the superbase directory and I decided to do what? To list the files that are actually in that directory, right? Now, I could still take a step further to move again by doing a cd. Take for instance Docker. Now I've moved into Docker as well this time around, right? Let me run an ls and let's see what is inside. Now you're seeing that we're seeing different files again under what? Under the Docker directory this time. You're seeing the readme file, your Docker compose, your Docker entry points, volume. So we're seeing different set of files again under the Docker directory. Now this is me. This is us running what? Running a cd command, which is what helping us to change directory. Now, take for instance, I want to view the content in one of these files. I want to view the content in one of these files. What do? I run a cat command. Right? This is Docker compose. I want to view the content of this what? Of this Docker compose file. I run a cat Docker compose. What exactly has happened? Now I am actually viewing, these are all the contents in this what? These are all the content in this Docker compose file. These are all the content in it.
Sorry, your screen is not showing. I don't know.
It's not showing.
Your other screen, I believe you're sharing some other screen to us. Only your slides should be there.
Oh, sorry.
And the volume is very low. I can barely hear you. Sorry.
All right, sorry, because I'm not using my earpiece. So, can you see my screen now? I mean, can you see? Please, kindly tell me what you're seeing on the screen. Let me just be sure.
I can see your text editor now.
Okay, all right. So, that means you guys did not see what I was doing all along. Okay, all right. Okay, I was saying that to view the content of a particular file. Now, this is a Docker Compose file. Right? Now, this is a Docker Compose file. Now, for me to view the content of this file, I run a cat command. Remember what we're actually looking at? We're looking at various commands that are involved in when using a Linux server. We have different commands that we run to allow us to do the things that we want to do. Right? So, and I've said that okay, now I've listed the files under this particular directory, and I said okay, I want to. If you have seen the files that are in this directory, readme file, deploy script.sh file, Docker Compose, Docker installation. Now I want to view the contents in this your Docker Compose file. Then what do? I run a cat command. Now this cat command, what it has done is that it has opened up the content, right, of this particular file. These are the contents of this file. So what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing the contents in this file. However, if I want to view this file in a text editor where I need to edit the file, what do I do? Right? Remember what we did initially was to do what was to run a cat command. All I need to do is I run this time around a nano command. When I run nano with Docker Compose, the difference now is that it has opened up this particular file in an editable format. Meaning I can edit this if I want to edit it. Remember, what we did initially was to view the content, rather, but we did not edit. But this time around, if you want to edit, we can edit the file. So let's move on to our slide because of our time. It's not a topic that I can exhaust in just be quite fast. Now, I've used the cd command to be able to show us that how you can change your directory. Now, you want to change file permissions, you run your chmod command. Now, chmod command and file, change the permission to RWX for owner. What is RWX? Your read, write, and execute. Right, that's what your RWX means. So just like take for instance the same way. Just take for instance when if I send you what's it called? I send you a link, right? I send you a Google link right now. If I send you a Google link, obviously I'm sure all of us know that I can decide not to grant you permission to be able to even view the file, let alone being able to edit it. Right. So I can as well grant you permission so that you're able to view the file, and I also can restrict you from just viewing and not being able to edit. So the same thing applies when it comes to your file permissions on Linux server. So you can also change file permission, right, to allow for what owners to be able to do what to read the file, in some case write, in some case execute. Right. So moving forward, your chown command, that's your chon, that's the command that allows you to do what to be able to change ownership of the file. So if you want to change ownership of the file, you run that command. Your chgrp, that's a change group command. Let's move because of our time. Then your ls command, which was one of the things I did, list content of what of your directory, list content of your directory. I've gone into a directory. You have done your cd, for instance, cd command, which helps you to change directory, change it into a particular directory. Now you want to list the contents of that directory. You run your ls command. Ls affords you the opportunity to be able to list the content of the directory. Then when you want to make a directory as well, the command mkdir allows you to do what? Allows you to make a directory. Now, if you observe, oh, okay, I don't know if you get, I'm not sure you get started, maybe that was when I wasn't sharing the right screen. So, but then I can log into a server and into my workspace on the server, and then everything is empty if I haven't done anything there before. However, I can make a directory on that server if I want. All I need is to run the command mkdir command to be able to allow me to move a directory. Then also, if I want to move or rename a file or directory, I use the mv command to do that. Please note, let me just also make this clear as well. You may not necessarily need to cram all of these commands, right? You don't necessarily need to cram all of these commands because it's going to take a whole lot for you to cram all of these commands. However, the more often you work, with this, the more often you work with Linux, the more you begin to know some of these commands offhand, right? So your find command allows you to be able to find files. So with the find command, you need to find files. Take for instance, if you're looking at here, see your find, slash home directory, the name, that's the name of the file, readme, and then to print. Now, what exactly does this whole command? Search for a readme starting at home and output full paths, right? So your slash home is starting from your home directory and proceed through all the subdirectories, right? To be able to look for a file called with this, to be able to use this name to be able to look for a file called readme. And once you're able to find the file readme, -print helps you to do what? To print out the full path to that file. So if it's just on, if the readme file is just in your home directory, so the full path will just be your slash home slash what readme. But if it is not just in that home directory, if it's in other subdirectories, you definitely have your home, that your slash home slash the next subdirectories, to up until you get to the readme file. Right. So the command is to do what helps it to list the working directory. Um, help you to list your working directory. Now, I just do that pwd command. Remember what I said? I believe you can see my screen. It helps you to do what? It prints my working directory what full path. Remember, have a look at this again. PWD does what? Print or list your present working directory with full path. Now, that's exactly what has just happened here. I ran that same PWD command to be able to do what? To be able to list my working directory with its full path. So you can see the home directory and my own directory, right? So that's basically it. Okay, your RM directory allows you to be able to delete files, right? You have some files that if you want to delete, so your RM command allows you to be able to delete the files. The RM dir allows you to be able to remove the directory. Now this directory must not be empty. Okay, must be empty. So it allows you to be able to your touch command change file types, file and timestamps to the current time. That's if the file doesn't exist. The whereas command allows you to locate the binary and main page file of the command, which command shows the full path of commands where the command resides. Then your file compression, backup and storing. So your compressed file allows you to compress data. Sure, you know about compressing data. Then your uncompressed command allows you to expand the data. Your, if you want to zip a gzip file, then you run your command your gzip. Then your unzip allows you to unzip a gzip file. Then your tab command allows you to do archive files and directory. Then your zip command allows you to compress a file to a .zip. So I can answer your question. Yeah, Victoria. So I'll be stopping here so I can attend to questions, please.
All right, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Please, do we have questions? Thank you so much for the presentation. We appreciate. Does anyone have questions? I feel that people in the dev team should have questions or contributions first. If there are no questions, it's okay to say no questions. Any question? You can say no questions, please. All right. So please, do you have questions for us? Just to show you listened.
Okay, all right. So Nobody asked questions. So safe to assume that we all understood what we all learned. But however, now if you want to change directory, what command do you run? I don't know if I should start calling on anyone, but anybody should be free to answer this. Right? You want to change directory? Let me call on Justin. Can Justin hear me? So I can move on. I can move straight. So if Justin cannot hear me, then this call.
Hello, do you just call me? Please?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What were you saying, please? I
Yeah.
not heard my name. Okay.
Okay. Now I'm asking if you want to change directory in Linux, what command do you run?
Linux, you cd into your directory. That's cd slash the directory name. Then, if the directory is not within the iPath, I don't know if you made mention of that one. Then you have to cd dot slash the directory.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Now let me ask, Victor, if you can hear me. If you want to view the contents of the file in Linux, what command do you run? Victor, can you hear me? Is Victor not on the call anymore? All right, Oreoluwa, please, if you can hear me, if you want to view the contents of the file in Linux, what command do you run to allow you to view the contents of the file?
And that will be the cat command. CAT.
Thank you very much. That's correct. Thank you. All right, so thank you, everyone. Victoria, I think I'm done. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for thank you, Justin. Thank you, for responding. Thank you, everyone. I hope we've learned one or two. Thank you so much, James, for the presentation. Please let's remember to check the schedule. A new schedule will be coming out this week. Please let's always remember to check and then take note of it in our calendars. Thank you. Do have a productive day, everyone.